Hey, welcome to Ham Radio Perspectives. I'm Tom, WA9TDD.
And I'm the co host, Quinn, K8QS. And with us is
I'm Liam, KM7EYR.
Liam. Thanks so much for coming on. You've watched a few videos on our channel, and then you dropped me a note, and I found out, wow, this is great. We've got a young ham here. We want to get your story. So that's what this is all about, Liam. Tell us how in the world you got interested in ham radio, or maybe radio before ham radio. What happened in the process and what you've been up to?
I think how I got into this, like about maybe when I was 9, I had just basic walkie-talkies, FRS. I have some to my side over here, but just small walkie-talkies. Electronics were an interest of mine. I saw these devices like computers that are like the recording I have right now. I just wondered, well, is make everything much easier, but thing is, might as well want to know how they work. So I just took interest in trying to build what I can with the parts that I have, such as in my parts cabinet over there. Just seeing what I can construct. I think I just, and then, electronics is like radio theory, RF, it all kind of led to that. And I think I found out about ham radio through my grandpa, since he has GMRS. He recently got his ham license, KM7 HBB, and I'm glad that he got that. He taught me about GMRS, and then I learned that ham radio was kind of GMRS with more frequencies. So I think I just decided to go for ham radio lessons as well, and then it's pretty fun, and I'm much enjoying it. That's the basic story of how I got into.
Tom and I could talk about the fact that we got interested in walkie-talkies many years ago too, and so it's great to have you here talking about that. Now, did you like going through the study to get an exam, to get a license?
Well, I mean, I think it was pretty interesting to. I mean, not necessarily. I'm glad I got a license, but I learned most of it. I kind of just memorized the questions, and then as I continue with my general's license, which I have right now, I'm learning what they really mean. So, like when I come across a problem, I look back at the questions on the test, and I'm like, okay, so I remember that I answered this, and that was the correct answer. So I should use this to find this. Such as I think one of the questions on the tech test was, how do you find the length of an antenna, such as a dipole? It's a frequency 468 divided by frequency in megahertz. So since I look back at that, I knew what to do to build one of my dipoles for 2 meters, which I have over there in my cabinet.
Tom, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, I've just got to congratulate somebody at your age going after a license like you did and being as interested in ham radio. At your age, I was listening to the shortwave broadcast from BBC, Radio Cuba, Radio Netherlands, and that's how I got into ham radio. It was just a fulfilling and an inner urge, I think, to communicate. And I got my license when I was 13, so you're ahead of where I was.
Yeah, me too. So also, I'm wondering about HF. With a general class, you've got some pretty decent HF privileges. What are you doing in terms of rigs and antennas?
Not a lot. Since I think I have rigs fine. I have a 706 here on my desk. An ICOM. It's very nice. First, it was broken when I got it, but I sent it off to get fixed for a good $75, which I think I've heard from one of my Elmers, which is K3TYE, that is very much worth it. CW is my primary mode of operation on HF. I do voice sometimes. Maybe when voice is more open, I don't know. But CW is primary. I try to do more kind of go out like POTA activations and whatnot with other people, other hams when I can, because there's more open space, and more open space is more antenna space.
Fantastic.
Home, I don't really have much of an antenna. I have a small kind of 2 wires hung up on a fence, tuned for 20 meters. It's not perfectly resonant. It receives fine on 20 meters, but I still have to tune it to be able to transmit off of it. But that's basically, my radio is fine, antenna situation, not so much.
Yeah.
base station speaking.
Well, antenna is one thing you can learn and develop. It's not expensive either, because as you know, wire antennas for poto or other uses are not expensive, and so you'll get into it. What kind of goals do you have as to where you want to get in the hobby now?
I think I just want to be able to have a kind of base station HF antenna or just a primary antenna for more activations, something for 20 meters. And I think I just want to keep improving my CW proficiency, which I'm still working on. I can do about 8 to 10 words per minute receiving with a slight error. But I think I've definitely been getting into that, and I'm just working on improving that by practicing and just looking at new antenna designs to be able to just get on HF and do some long distance.
You said you had an Elmer. Do you have any friends that are also younger in your area that are interested in ham radio?
Not necessarily in my area, no. I know another kid. There's some teenagers that I know. Not necessarily like best friends with them, more like mutual relationship. I don't know any kids that I'm necessarily friends with, or I have friends that are interested in my area.
So when you tell your friends that you're a ham radio operator, if you do, or you tell them you're a ham, what do they think?
Call me a nerd. I don't know.
Hey, it's a good kind of nerd to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You know? So you're on the right path. You are an inspiration, Liam, and so we are delighted to record this with you, put it up on our channel. We'll give it some good clickbait topic to try to get other young people interested in the hobby. And you've shown again that it can be done. There are a lot of other people like you out there, but it's hard for us with our channel to locate them in order to do a video like this. So this is very, very special for us. Is there anything that you would like to ask two old geezers that are on here with you right now about ham radio?
Ask, I guess, what's your primary mode of transmit for HF?
Go ahead, Tom.
I didn't understand that.
Oh, the primary mode of transmit for HF.
The primary mode of transmit for HF. Well, for me personally, it's digital or getting it back into CW again. Quinn is the resident expert on sideband and chasing down the DX. So there's a lot of different modes. I prefer digital because I have a hearing problem and I can read it on my screen. I'm getting back into CW because the normal digital that I prefer, the PSK and Olivia's, kind of like a dying art. So I'm gonna get back and I'm gonna get back into CW because I can hear it and you can have an actual conversation on it. And one thing I was wondering, Liam, what are your future intentions as far as pursuing a career in electronics or engineering, to anything technical? Has that even crossed your mind yet, or what are your aims and goals?
Yeah, I think I don't necessarily know exactly what I want to be. I have maybe like a kind of broad setting. I think I just want to work somewhere that with radio, something radio resolved. I think specifically a little bit more specific, radio astronomy, as in very large array, or something with the NRAO, National Radio Astronomy Observatory. I think that's always also been an interest of mine. I'm still working on that. I have some supplies for that. I'm starting to want to monitor the hydrogen line. I have SDR RTL on my desk down there next to those handhelds. You can see.
Okay, Tom, you've got to share your theory about the hydrogen line.
My theory about the hydrogen line my theory is that if there's any alien communication going on, because of the fact that hydrogen exists in the whole universe, if I was a thinking intellectual alien, I would transmit on a frequency the same as the hydrogen line, because it's a universal frequency, it's a universal band. But hey, who knows? Maybe it's out there. We just don't recognize the mode yet.
Yeah, That's interesting. So you're headed in a direction that is going to be growing like crazy, Liam. If you stay in that radio astronomy, more and more, that's going to be a place where a lot of engineering and physics kind of come together. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So thanks for doing this with us. We wish you well. Anytime you want any advice, fire us an email. And we're glad you got local, Elmer, though that's more important than us. Thanks for watching the channel, and watch for some more of those crazy stories like the one you mentioned of my illegal dipole, because those are going to be coming up, and they're going to involve things that I did when I was approximately your age, including this last one I'm working on about how I got arrested. So we'll look forward to talking with you again, to stay in touch. Thanks, everybody, for watching. This is Ham Radio Perspectives. I'm Quinn, K8QS.
I'm Tom, WA9TDD, and introducing Liam.
Yes, thanks, Liam.
Yeah, KM71.
There you go. Thanks so much. And do subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.